Hello, my beautiful people. Here I am with Tina from the Aftermath, and we have a lot of things to talk about today. A lot, actually, especially now that Invictus game is there and it's about Invictus and now Meghan, and not about Meghan Markle, that show, that disgusting show. So, how are you, Tina?
I'm good. I'm good. I've just been, life is crazy, isn't it? I've been catching up on some of the Invictus stuff, and like you've just pointed out, it's so nice to see the difference now in seeing the footage of the people that have literally gave their blood, sweat, and tears, not only to their country but to go and compete, and they're actually being seen. Like, what a difference!
Yeah.
It's
How,
mind-boggling.
yeah, and how's by the way, guys, please go subscribe to Tina, the Aftermath on YouTube. I will
Hello,
leave the
everyone.
link. I will leave her link. I couldn't join your live yesterday on TikTok because my back was really killing me, and
Oh,
I was just, and on TikTok, you can't hide the camera. I don't think I'm not
yeah,
very
yeah.
techy.
Yeah, no, they are rubbish.
So I want to thank you, all of you guys, for coming here to see. I'm gonna look for your channel so I can show it to you guys. And you have to go subscribe to Tina because Tina is amazing.
Honestly, I've
Um,
not put any posts up really this week. I've been a bit
yeah, but
rubbish,
people
but
can still
I'm
subscribe
on
to it.
late shifts this week, which enables me time in the day to sort of do it.
No, I get. Oh shit! I should put my banner up. Wait, there. I know I get it, but people should still go and subscribe to Tina, guys. If you're wondering what her channel is, this is the channel for Tina. Please go subscribe to her. She's
Yeah.
amazing. It's the Aftermath 83 because she has very, very good videos. And I got to know Tina. If you've been following me, you know how I'm a big fan of Tina's. I was lucky enough that she came to my channel, from TikTok. We met through TikTok because I was stalking you like Megan, stalks everybody.
I think, to be honest with you, people are just grateful that you want to work with us as well, because you are like quite legendary in your defiance in trying to get truth. So, and that's all any of us want is truth, reality.
Well, I don't know if that's the case. I mean, for me, it's just getting questions answered, and I don't understand, especially given my background.
Mm.
Um, you know, like my background and
Hmm.
stuff like that. So for me, it's about that. I mean, for me, it's about the message and getting questions answered, because I don't understand how people are not answering or asking more questions, and so please, hi, Tina. Everybody say hi to Tina. Love, love, love
Hello,
Tina. Of course.
everyone.
Yes, we all love Tina.
No,
She talked.
I
Go
think
for
with
it.
our past, you sort of you hate injustice and people who are wrong, and they treat people wrong, and never being called out for that, because we've lived that, we've been that person, on the receipt end of a wrong, and there's never a lot of justice given. And the Harry and Meghan debacle just continues, doesn't it? And the gaslighting is in extreme. Like, on the world stage, we're seeing gaslighting like never before.
Yeah. You know, I am hoping, I'm always very hopeful, guys, because if I hadn't been hopeful, I wouldn't be here.
Hmm.
We love you, Tina. Yes, we love Tina. Hello, Tina.
Yeah,
Good
the
evening.
feeling, the love.
Because we all love you. Tina, Tina talks a lot, guys, about abuse, domestic violence because of her upbringing and the experience as a child.
Hmm.
You grew up, it's fair to say, in an abusive home
Hmm.
or in an
Yeah.
abusive environment as a
Yeah.
child.
Hmm.
And you are not bitter. Instead, you on your TikTok account, you spread a lot of love, you spread a lot of possibilities, and positivity. You are not negative about things. Instead, you give people tips
Hmm.
and also say we're here to listen to you.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So
I'm very lucky that I've managed to live that life, but able to share my story. I'm very lucky that I can share my story, because so many can't. And with domestic violence, as you know, Paula, there's a silence. There is a silence. And whilst there's that silence, people are not being heard, they're not being seen, and they're not getting the validation they so truly deserve. So for me, it's nice to be heard and seen, and I want other people to feel that too.
Of course, especially in circumstances, because you're never going to see, and we're going to talk about Blake Lively,
Oh God.
because I was watching you yesterday's on the TikTok, right? And
Yeah.
there's a point that our beautiful Cynthia said that when you're a victim of domestic violence or you're in a very violent relationship, we're talking
Yeah.
about Blake Lively and the movie. We're going to get into a lot of things today.
Yeah.
Uh, how they portrayed when she asked the character in the movie for a divorce. I mean, I can tell you, at least from my experience, that you don't do it that you, you will never, if you're really in an abusive relationship, you will never ever even have the guts to say that you would run out of the house, find yourself a shelter, and then ask for divorce when you feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Absolutely.
so
And I know from my mom, the one day she managed to just go into town, and she was going to go and see a lawyer, and out of the blue her abuser just turned up, stood in front of her. It was like he knew. He had followed her, and he knew she was doing something out of the ordinary, and he turned up to intervene with that, 14 years she was stuck there. And that day we left, honestly, walking, we didn't even know where the refuge was. My mom had heard about it, and we walked across the park because we felt exposed on the street, because he would look for his prey, in every step forward. We were literally in fight for flight, like literally we were like fighting to get away, but we were just on the escape. And this is why Harry and Meghan, the freedom flight, it just, you've got no idea that you, when you've walked in our shoes, you're not a victim like this, so yeah,
yeah,
it's
and flying on a private plane,
yeah,
nonetheless.
yeah. Yeah,
You
my
know,
mum had five
because
pounds in her purse, and she had two broken kids with her. And we were literally, every car that went past, in our heads become a threat. Every car was going to go back and tell our abuser. We felt like we were being stalked like prey. It was a bid for freedom. And when we got to the church next to the refuge, when that door opened, my mum just literally, we all just burst into tears. We were that scared, so yeah, the way Blake Lively is portrayed, it ends with us, with even the promoting of alcohol. Now, alcohol and domestic abuse, we all know, don't we? So
I mean, that woman
hallelujah.
is insane. That woman is insane. And I think that me too. I mean, I know that because you know what I lived through with my
Yeah,
ex-husband.
yeah.
So for me, even when the police came to the house,
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time that the beating he gave me was, so we had like we were in Norway. We had like in our living room, we had two floors. Our house was two floors, but there were like two main doors that were made out of glass, and they're
Yeah,
and they were framed by wood. I mean, he hit me so hard that the whole doors basically came unhinged when I went through them, right?
yeah,
And I didn't call the police. And then because he was scared, he said, "Oh, let's go visit some people." But the neighbors had heard everything, right?
yeah,
Even though there was only three homes, we live in a
yeah.
cul-de-sac, and it was like three homes and they were very separate, but it was so loud. But it was insane when I saw the police show up at, at the not the neighbors, but at a friend's house that live in our same area. Because one of the things that abusive people do, they isolate you so they know where you go, because especially where we lived, it was such a small area. I really stood out because I was the only one with the dark hair, and
Mhm.
I'm very white, but I was, in Norway. I
Yeah,
looked foreigner. I was shocked because apparently they're going to my neighbor, and my neighbor told them, well, the only places that sometimes they go is to this friend that they have, which live
hmm,
about a kilometer away from us. I remember I was so shocked. The police came and they pulled me, they asked us to come out. So
yeah,
I went out. I thought I was in trouble. I didn't know what it was,
hmm,
because my ex had convinced me that that they would take me, not him, because
yeah,
of course, and then they took him out. And even then I was scared because I had to swear to him I hadn't called the police, which I hadn't.
yeah,
And then they took us back to the house where the doors, and I had to blame the dog. I remember I had to blame poor Edward, that he had broken. I could see the police didn't believe me.
yeah. They knew.
but they knew, but because I wasn't pressing any charges or anything like that. So for me, watching that movie, or that this woman, and yes, alcohol, I find that the men that are abusive hide behind alcohol. They say, oh, I was drunk, but they know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. And a lot of these abusers get their strength through alcohol. This is what they do. They, once they're high, they on whatever, that's when a lot of women fear the attack, once they've had too much to drink, because that gives them that brave. So and you've got some which don't even need the drink. But when you've got a movie about domestic abuse, and you got Blake Lively, who didn't even meet with a charity. She refused to meet with a charity that were going to get proceeds. She didn't even open up an educational understanding around the severity of what people expected from this movie. She didn't even read the book. The only thing that she was caring about was the color of the hair of the character, and this is where it fell flat for her when she came out to do all the promotion. For me, it was a bit like a Johnny Depp Amber Heard moment, because before I knew any of this that had gone on, I literally connected to Justin Baldoni and his words, because his understanding about domestic abuse. I listened to Blake Lively and it just fell flat. And I was like, what? As a woman, I'm expecting to hear this from you, but I'm getting this connection through him. And now I know what's happened on that set. I now understand why I connected with Justin Baldoni, and that's because he knew what it was to be the smaller person in that workplace. He knew what it was to be being abused, and that's why he was connecting through to the survivors, because he understood the power balance.
Yeah. I wanted to go through something today because I don't know who's worse, Harry or Meghan. People are still giving Harry a pass. No, I'm serious. And we're going to see.
I know. It's so conflicting.
Yeah, but I want to show you something, guys. Because this is the great thing about the internet. I've always said that the downfall for people is going to be the internet. Okay. And never, ever, it's more, for me, more obvious than we're going to show you this little clip.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find it. Okay, here we go. I'm going to mute myself so you guys don't hear an echo. Okay, so this is going to be Prince William, Catherine, and Harry. They don't even use the titles. Okay. And this is, I'm going to give you a little bit of background. This is when they launched Heads Together. Okay, so I'm going to mute my channel. I'm going to play this thing so you guys can see it and hear it. Okay, so let me, how do I do this? Here we go.
I am still here.
Why Heads Together and why mental health?
It was your idea.
It was your idea.
It's a common thread, wasn't it?
Can you hear it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, can you hear the video?
Yeah, I can hear the video.
Because I can't hear for some reason. Are you guys able to hear the video that I'm playing? Let me know if you can hear it, because I can't hear it.
Press a 1 if you can hear it.
Can you press the 1 if you can hear it, guys?
Run between all the different areas that we were working in, so whether it's homelessness and
because I can't hear it. I could be because I have this thing on, so I might have to take it off.
Thread, wasn't and this idea that
you can't hear. Okay, so I'm gonna stop it here, and I'm gonna wait one second.
It's mixed bag, because some people are saying they can hear it.
You can hear it.
There's loads of ones. That means they can hear it.
So it's just me because I'm playing it. Okay, yeah. Okay. So did you hear what? No, I can hear it.
No, I can hear. No, it stopped. 1. They can hear it, I think. We can hear the video. We can hear it. Yeah, they can hear it.
Okay, so here we have you have the video here, but you're gonna listen to Harry when they're asked about Catherine.
Why Heads Together and why mental health?
It was your idea.
It was your idea.
It's a common thread, wasn't it?
You hear that they say that it's her idea.
Yeah.
We're listening to it, right?
Yeah, and it would be with Catherine, because she's very much on the early foundations. So she probably understood William and Harry more so. We know through Catherine's actions and behaviours that she would have brought this together as well. Not only is he saying it's her, but we know as well with Catherine and how she holds herself and what she puts her time into, that this would be definitely an important one for her.
Guys, I apologize, Elaine. The thing is that because I'm wearing a different mic, for some reason I'm unable to hear it. So this is why I'm asking you, because I can't, for me, it's not sounding on the screen. So I apologize it. So I'm going to play it again because I want people to understand that Harry says whose idea this is, because we're going to hear a different story very quickly. Okay. So here we go. Let me see.
Why heads together and why mental health?
It was your idea.
It was your idea.
It's a common thread, wasn't it? Mental health sort of seemed to run between all the different areas that we were working in. So whether it's homelessness and the military with yourself and addiction with me and bereavement, there was a sort of underlying thread, wasn't there, of mental health. And this idea that there's all of us coming together to find a common theme and to show people how to have those, what we're calling sort of simple conversations and starting those conversations, which is often the hardest bit, really.
As you said, it's like almost like a form of medicine.
Yeah. But as a young mother actually said that to me at the Anna Forey Centre, she said actually just talking to somebody, having those conversations is like medicine for her. Yeah. And that is the point, is that actually it's okay to have that conversation.
So we've heard that, right?
Yeah.
Was listening to Catherine. I'm glad you can hear it, because now I know I can use this and have this little mic instead of the other one. But I'm going to show you something else. This was, I'm going to tell you when this was. This was 7 years ago. This is very important, guys. This is 7 years ago. Okay. This was in April 21st, 2017. Please beware of this date, because we're going to watch something else now. And I want you to tell me, and it's very important. It's very important because he was in Canada when he gave this interview to the Obama Foundation, to the Obama organization, whatever you want to call it. In fact, Obama gave the first interview to Harry, I think on that day as well, as the first interview when he got out of the presidency. Right. So, and then he went and did this. This is October 31st, 2017, Halloween. That's the very same day that Meghan Markle texted her co-star and was texting everybody, telling her co-star at the Dater's Handbook, and she was texting everybody, telling them that there was an article about to break that was going to tell the world that she was dating Prince Harry, the guy she met on March 2000. That year, you know. So it's going to be very, very interesting. But this is 2017 October, and it says Harry 1 year after. And
we've gone from April to October.
Yes,
same
2017. Year. So there's a huge change. From what I understand, they had broken up or something like that, and she showed up at a friend's wedding in Jamaica or someplace like that. I can't remember. So let me show you this, because this is very important to see how Harry changed his tune, because the woman kept pressing him to answer who came up with the idea of Heads Together. The presenter kept asking him, and he just avoided the question. So let's listen to that. Because this guy, I swear to God, you know, this is at the Obama Foundation Summit. Okay. So I will have to interrupt after 2 minutes, guys, because for copyright reasons, we have to make a commentary. Otherwise, you know, they won't let us play. I hope you understand that. So this is Harry, and the date is October 31st, 2017. Okay. And this is Prince Harry, who joins Melody Hobson in a conversation on ways that youth can be the drivers of community engagement and development. And here they're talking about how they can lend their power, their name to a cause, right? And here, I hope I got it right.
I don't think that's necessarily beneficial to anybody, but you know, our mental health campaign, Heads Together, back in the UK, is a classic example of where we were able to bring together 8 charities within the mental health sector.
With your mic.
I'm so sorry.
No worries, thank you. We were able to bring together 8 mental health charities that have been working in the sector for many, many, many years. But being able to bring them together and say, right, you guys have never sat around a table together and discussed the main issues. What we want to be able to do now is, through our foundation, create a platform in which your expertise and your experience is elevated. And therefore, you tell us what needs to be done around mental health within the UK and globally. And they said, if you can remove the stigma, that makes our life a lot easier. So that's exactly what we did. We tried to remove the stigma and tried to normalize the discussion around mental health.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I'm going to have to take, guys, this thing off. I'm sorry, but I have to take.
Can I just make an observation, though? Even then, even though we know he's going to not acknowledge that Catherine was the one, even that from Harry, then you can see him saying, we're going to take your knowledge and what you know and elevate you. The whole, we look at Harry and Meghan today. If they're sat next to grieving parents, it's like me, Harry and Meghan, we're going to change this. Where the different language in Harry, where Harry used to sit was, we're going to take the foundation and take your, and you, give you. And that's another difference in Harry and how much he's changed.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's unbelievable to me, the change, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
If I can hear it, because
So in some ways, the past, and that's the protocol may have been lending your name and using your name to create a halo around the organization that would benefit it. And it sounds like the younger royals are more about more than just name association, more direct action and involvement. So do you feel you're more hands-on? Is that fair to say?
I think in today's world, you have to be. I think you have to be much more hands-on, and also.
Why? I mean, why do you have to be? You could have done it the same way. You could have had 200 charities and been a patron of them. I mean, no one would have thought any different.
No, but if you end up working individually for, let's say, 200 charities, in today's world, I think that kind of dilutes the impact that you can have. What our foundation is all about and what our platform is all about is encouraging people to come together, to work together, so that there's less competition within that sector, whether it's financially or otherwise, and saying, right, guys, you're doing the same thing. Please, let's get around a table, talk to each other, work it out, and come up with a long-term strategy.
But doesn't this seem obvious? Like, why haven't other people done it then? So you've created, with your brother and sister-in-law, the Royal Foundation. Okay, you started a charity. My first question would be, do we need another charity? So, what was your thinking in coming together? Whose idea was this?
So that's my motto is exactly that. Why another charity? Our foundation is not another charity. We're not trying to take up any more space. I think we all agree that the charity sector.
You see how he's refusing is my motto.
Yeah. Yeah.
How he's refusing to see, well, my sister-in-law came up with the idea.
Or actually, because you heard the woman say Catherine's name. So, it's even there on the stage with him.
No, but but this is now October 31st. That we know that in 8 days, he's going to publish a statement saying that everybody's being racist against Catherine, against Meghan, right?
Yeah.
So, but listen to this. Has she already asked him? Because I didn't hear it before. Has she already asked him?
He said in that who came up with the idea, and he's not really answered that. He's sort of gone on about himself to begin.
Yeah, this is true. Just because you're mentally ill does not make you. It's funny. I'm sorry, but that is funny. But you can see, guys, how he's refusing, and he goes. And I'm just gonna rewind it a little bit, and we're gonna go back because the lady's asking her whose idea it was, right?
Yeah.
So here we go.
Is exactly that. Why another charity? Our foundation is not another charity. We're not trying to we're not trying to take up any more space. I think we all agree that the charity sector is quite full at the moment. But as I said, what we're trying to do is use our platform to be able to bring people together to affect change.
So why haven't other people done this?
Because I genuinely believe that we as a foundation will never be able to compete with some of the other big foundations financially. As weird as that may sound, but that's fact. What we do have is a unique ability to be able to put our name and everything that comes with to a really good purpose, to a really good cause. And as I said, there are many organizations out there that have never come together and that would never sit around the table and discuss the topic of which they're all involved with. But we've proven that. We've made that possible.
So in some ways you're leveraging your name, it seems to me. Does this create something very, very unique to you and your brother and sister-in-law, in that you can get these people to come together and talk to each other? Because working together is hard.
Yeah, well, it's hard working together as a family. It's hard working together, and it's hard working together when you are scrapping for the same money within the same sector, as a lot of people know. But you know, through some of the initiatives that we've created, Invictus Games, as an example, that brought together 10, 12 different service charities to be able to share expertise, share knowledge, share experience specifically around mental health, so that they were all standardization across the board to make sure that whatever.
I mean, why is it so hard for him to answer? And then he brings it to Invictus.
Mm-hmm.
He brings it back to Invictus, to himself. And if people don't understand that he says your name, it wasn't their names that they were leveraging.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see? And it's the woman who keeps saying you, your brother, your sister-in-law, and you. He keeps me. The Royal Foundation is the most he says.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's not their names, it's their titles. What do you think, Tina?
Yeah, absolutely. And if we look at Invictus now, current day, we know that Royal Foundation, we know William and Catherine was a massive part of that. Again, the gaslighting that were happening. There's no mention. It's sounded out. Everything up until he got with Meghan is gone. This is what they slowly do. And we can all see the difference in Harry. We can all see the difference in how he sits and speaks. And he won't acknowledge them. But if he knew in 8 days' time he was about to unleash the beginning of what we met in the first place and speaking to each other, Paula, he couldn't mention their name, could he? He wouldn't be able to mention their name because he's about to embark on the biggest attack of his family. Little did we know. So he couldn't give them any praise or credit for their positioning in this. A bit like he won't with Invictus because his past is bad, and that's what, that's what he says and does. Gaslighting. Harry and Meghan have done on the stage ever since they walked away.
Yeah, but this is the interesting guy because he still hadn't announced to the world that he was dating Meghan. Camilla Common is the one who broke the story that day because Meghan leaked it. That's my opinion, because that's the only one. Because how would Meghan know that her story was about to be leaked? Why is she texting all her friends, and even friends that she hadn't texted in months, that a story was about to break? That, you know what I mean? That she was dating Prince Harry.
Because Meghan I just had someone comment on my TikTok about how reactive she is, and that's it. It's that reactiveness which gets her into trouble. You know, it's that. She wants instant gratification, instant celebratory of her name. And, you know, this was her letting people know just she can't help herself. The Billie Eilish t-shirt, she can't help herself. It's crazy. We're watching crazy, in my opinion. You know, I think everyone can relate to that. It's mental.
Yeah, and then let's listen to it, because she has...
The best practice was everybody was sharing that. And therefore, if there's a wounded soldier that's left the forces, that's been lost in amongst the chaos of everything else, if they stick their head above the parapet and they go to Help for Heroes, one of the charities in the UK, if that's not for them, like you go to your supermarket, everybody chooses the supermarket they want to go to. It's the same with the charity sector. And if you've got 101 choices to choose from, every single person is uniquely wired, and therefore their cure or their fix will be specific to them. But what we're able to do is bring everybody together once again around a table and say, right, you're now part of a group, you're part of something. And therefore anybody that comes in gets the opportunity or the option of 12 of you rather than one of you.
Whose idea was this? I mean, who was it? You or Prince William or
The Royal Foundation?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. But
did it? I mean, was it just obviously a good idea? Or
I think it comes.
He doesn't remember because he was never involved.
Mhm.
He doesn't remember because if there was ever any proof that this guy was never really involved in anything, because how can you not know? She's asking pointedly whose idea it was, not the Royal Foundation. He changed this because I think we all understood, at least I understood, whose idea it was for this mental health thing.
Yep.
And then he goes, the Royal Foundation? I don't know. How can he not know if he was an integral part of the Royal Foundation? The Royal Foundation was supposedly created by Prince William, the Duchess of Cambridge then, and Prince Harry. This is how uninvolved this man is.
Mm-hmm.
How can he not know? How can he have no idea? How can he not know the impact of...
Well, that's the reality. He does know, doesn't he? But he's skirting around it, isn't he? Because he can't credit it to William and Catherine, a bit like we see with Invictus now. We can't credit that or acknowledge that because they've created such a toxic... Now, this is obviously years ago. This was at the beginning of it all, but he can't credit them because he's convinced the world and tried to convince the world they're all bad.
No, but it's what the insane part of all of it is that people who are still giving him a pass.
Yeah.
I can tell you that they had created something that's that meaningful to me. How can he not know who created the Royal Foundation if he's one of the founders?
I know.
Because he doesn't want to say it's my brother, my sister-in-law, and myself were there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
and like anything, it's all out there on the internet, like you have just been able to do with 2 separate videos from April to October. And this is the thing with Harry and Meghan. They just seem to speak about the internet a lot, but not actually understand the concept that anything you speak can be compared to, and that's the craziest thing with Harry and Meghan. It's almost like they don't understand it at all.
But what do you think then? Because what do you think then that he's still, do you think that by then, so far back, he already thought of leaving the family?
Do you know what? Obviously, for me, if it's some truth in that book, in how when Meghan came round to Knott's Cots, in how he embarrassingly hid his flag from the North Pole and his gifts from Amman in shame, I think it was there from day one. I feel like Meghan come along in obviously what we see now and what we deem to be as quite a narcissist, and he's seen that is someone with strength and in the power balance where he's always had it over other people with the royal family. He see Meghan stepping in, I'm not putting up with that, I'm not doing that, and he felt normal. I don't know what he felt, but there was definitely a power balance from the off with all of this. Yeah, and if it's true, and she was wearing Mommy's perfume and stuff like that, it was just a recipe for disaster.
Sorry, guys. I for some reason, I always keep getting my dates mixed up. Camilla Tominey released on October 31st, Camilla Tominey released the article on 2016. And what I wanted to say is how 1 year changes everything, because then in April 2017, he was still praising Catherine.
Yeah.
And then by October, that's 2017, he's done. So I apologize. It's just that I always keep getting the 2016 and 17 confused. So I apologize for that. And I'm going to show you, we're going to go back to this. Don't worry, because I'm going to show you that this thing here, this is what Camilla Tominey wrote. Prince Harry is secretly dating a stunning U.S. actress, model, and human rights campaigner. That's how Rachel Meghan Markle sold herself out to be, right? So she's the one who broke that news on October 31st, 2016. Okay, because he was in Canada. And then Harry went on later on. He went on in April, 2017, they did the interview for Heads Together that we saw with Catherine, where he was still praising Catherine. I think that Harry had broken up, and then he had gone. We know that the story with the when she showed up, or at
the wedding, the friend's wedding.
Yeah, because we can see the pictures. So in April in April 2017, Harry's still praising Catherine, William, and his brother. By October 2017, that's gone.
Yeah.
And then we heard that, and you know what? This is the part that I'm confused, because in the engagement interview, they said that in 2017, that they gave on November 26, 2017, they said that he had asked him to marry her weeks before.
Okay.
Some people are saying, and then I heard some of the reports that actually he had asked her months before, which means that they only dated like 6 months or something. The story keeps changing. We know that, which is very confusing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Teresa Whaley. Yeah.
But then that's the thing, though, is a family member. If you've got Prince Harry, and it's to the point where, you know, like Catherine did go on to say at that bench at the Heads Together about how William is advised that Harry get therapy or whatever. I'm sure that someone said about the therapy, and they've watched some woman come into his life, and William and Catherine, he was with Catherine 10 years before he wanted her to know that this was right. William understood the pressure so great. So if you've got this woman just wanted in, and within 6 months that he wants to pop the question, naturally, Paula, if that was your son and he's only been with a girl 6 months, you would, as a family member, just be a bit concerned about that rush into it. So this is normal reactions from the royal family to be like, oh, Harry, have you thought about this? Do you know her well enough? Is this, you know, but Harry and Meghan, as we see with what they are today, they're constantly on the defensive, constantly on the attack. You know, how dare you tell us? And this means you're being wrong to us. And actually they're not. They're just actually loving and caring. But you two are so wrapped up in your own feels, you can't see anyone past yourself.
Yeah, but isn't it amazing though how he can't say my brother and I? So that means that the cracks were already there in October before the engagement was even announced. Yeah. Because the woman is asking him a direct question: who came up with this?
Yeah, yeah.
And he can't bring himself to say, you know, like. So let's listen to it a bit more.
It comes with the territory, doesn't it? I mean, once you realize the effect that your name and your position can have, surely all you want to do is make sure that you spend every living day trying to bring people together and trying to make the most of that position.
But it hadn't been done before this way.
No, true. But as I said, you know, with the way that the world has changed and with the platforms that we now have used in a positive way, we can really bring people together from all over the world, across the Commonwealth of 52 countries, of a third of the world's population, of which 60% is under the age of 30. That is a platform of youth, of which needs to be listened to.
But the scale and the vastness of that is really hard then to manage. So how do you pick what you're going to do? So you mentioned the Invictus Games. You do everything from that to a program to develop coaches in the UK. You do, and around the world. You mentioned Heads Together, which is focused on mental health. How do you decide what to do? Because you have literally seen a lot. You've seen a lot of programs. You've seen great need in the world. Who puts a finger down on something and says this one? Yeah,
it's I think when you're part of a large charity or a large foundation, I think it is very hard to say no. But I think what we've realized is it's even harder to have a finger in every single pie. And therefore, for us, early intervention where possible is definitely the key. Impact is definitely has to be the priority. You know, none of us want to spend the rest of our lives connected to charities of which we're just making people's lives better. Far rather identify a problem and try and fix it before it becomes an even bigger problem.
I'm sorry. That line was so stupid. nobody wants to be part of a charity who's making people's lives better?
No, I thought the exact same.
I'm sorry. I'm going to rewind it. I speak 4 languages, but maybe, so he wants to be in a charity that prevents the problem. But how would you know? You know what I mean? But the whole point of a charity is to identify a problem, like Princess Diana did. You know, it's like homelessness. Okay, there is that problem. That's why you create the charity. Am I insane?
No, you're not. But here's the thing, right? And this is where what we're saying, the fact that he won't say William and Catherine's name. Now, what that should have led with, well, if we look at, because they're all coming together, yeah, all their charities, from Catherine's to William's to Harry's, in the alcohol, in the early foundation. So what he could have said, if he was able to say Catherine's name at this point, which evidently he's unable to, he could have gone back to, well, that's why we're doing this. We can link up all the charities. So as much as we want to help people, we want to take like Catherine's charity and stop that from even occurring. So they don't need to get, but he's unable to say Catherine's name. So this is where that's got misconstrued, because he's saying it with, because he's avoiding Catherine's name, he's just come out with something really ridiculous. It sounds really ridiculous. Of course you want to help people. That's what the charity is there for. We say it, play it again.
So you did hear it. Let me, because I thought I'm my misunderstanding. I don't want to be unfair. Okay.
It's even harder to have a finger in every single pie. And therefore, for us, early intervention, where possible, is definitely the key. Impact is definitely has to be the priority. You know, none of us want to spend the rest of our lives connected to charities of which we're just making people's lives better. Far rather identify a problem and try and fix it before it becomes an even bigger problem.
So when you come at it from that perspective,
did you see that gesture?
I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to say we need to stop it getting to that point where we just need to make their life better. But he said it completely wrong. He's avoiding Catherine's mention of her charity. So it's just lost. It's like for the birds, you know, and it sounds awful. Of course you want to be attached to a charity that's making people's lives better. But you also want to be a part of the charity, i.e. Catherine's charity, where you stop that route of it getting to this point. But if we can be here helping them, but also nip it in the bud for the others, you know, but he's
I mean, I think there's a saying, you don't give the man a fish, you teach him how to fish. Mm-hmm. That way the man is never dependent on you giving him that fish. Mm-hmm. But then again, that's what the charity, for example, with the Royal Foundation are doing. They're not just giving money for feeding. They're trying to create programs. This really shows me he was never involved in the Royal Foundations or any of the projects. Because then he would understand that what the Royal Foundation, the programs for the Royal Foundation is to find a solution to the problems, to help people get on their 2 feet. Yeah. Because what he has with Invictus is basically doing what he says he doesn't want to do, that he doesn't want to be attached to a charity where he makes people's lives better, because that's what Invictus is. He's not solving their problems.
Yeah. And it'd be stupid to think you can solve all their problems, you know.
But that's what he's doing right now. He's attached to a charity.
Yeah.
That doesn't solve
the problem. Absolutely.
You know,
it's making their life better. And there's no bad with trying to make someone's life better. Those people are very grateful of that opportunity for a better life. But yeah, I know, but it don't make sense.
Does he realize that that's what he's doing right now? And what is even worse is that he's not making the veterans' lives better. Mm-hmm. He's using and exploiting real veterans for his own PR. Mm-hmm.
And you can't argue that with the last week of what we've seen at Invictus until Meghan Markle left. You can't argue with that, Can you? Because we've not seen it being about Invictus. We've not seen it being about the people. We see those people, you know, having to pay for their own flights, having to pay for their own insurance. I see a story of a man that had gone to an Invictus Games, one of the previous ones, where he got injured. He didn't have the insurance and he's been left in debt. Now, this to me is where Invictus, the charity that's there for them, should be covering them.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's like, then what is he doing with Invictus? Invictus is not changing people's lives. These people spend a lot of money. He's not showing up to barely any of the games, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is very important. This is what I wanted you guys to hear, because not very many people know about this thing.
Is there a vetting process for what you decide to do, or is it these are just particular areas of interest to one or all of you?
I think it depends on our background, on our passions of what we're really interested in.
Do people pitch you ideas?
There has to be that connection. Sorry?
Do people pitch you ideas?
Yeah, there's plenty of ideas pitched, but taking it back to the mental health thing, that was luck of the timing. There was an issue that needed to be talked about, probably needed to be talked about many years ago. But I reckon 10 years ago, if that discussion had happened, or we'd started that campaign, or anybody else had started that campaign, never would have succeeded. But the fact is, the success of that campaign was built on the need within the United Kingdom, and the fact that every single person in the United Kingdom was ready for that conversation. And all of a sudden, once you normalize that topic, that discussion, everybody started to realize, wow, not only do I know other people that have suffered, I might have suffered as well. And then once that becomes normalized, then all of a sudden you realize that actually more people have tasted a mental health issue to a certain extent than haven't.
Right.
That's the tipping point of which we're at the moment. But as I said, the success wasn't based on us. The success was based on the fact that everybody was ready for the conversation.
So I hate to keep beating a dead horse, but I just want to ask just practically. So let's just say that comes to you. It has these unique characteristics where you can see the need, you can see the ability to leverage, you can see how lending your name and reputation to this will elevate an issue that is very important, whose moment has come. Do you vote? Did the three of you sit down and say, I'm in or I'm out? Or
it's still a young organization. I mean, our first grant was in 2012, I think it was, actually with these guys. But so yeah, we're still very much in the infancy years as such. But what we're trying to do is we want to prove the model in different sectors, and then once we've proven it, then we want to expand it. And there's no point in doing it otherwise, because what's the point in being involved in something unless you know that you're succeeding to a certain extent, if you know what I mean?
Then why is that Invictus? Because Invictus, I'm sorry, Invictus is not succeeding. The stalls are empty.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing though, Harry was born into a platform, you know, his mom in her legacy. If Harry wasn't born into the royal family, would he have chosen to go down these routes of charity and doing what
burgers, Tina? This guy's an idiot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Would he? You're not feeling that passion, are you? You're not feeling a great care. He's coming out of words is quite careless. Now, if you have me sat up there speaking about the aftermath, I will be going gun-ho. I would know everything I want to achieve from this. But Harry gets told to be at a certain place, certain time, and speak about this, and we do have filtering through his reluctance to speak on William and Catherine at this point, or even bring them into it, because this is his moment, obviously, and it just falls. You get it's a bit markled. You just don't want to hear it. You're not feeling the passion. A bit like Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. It's the difference.
By this time, he's already with Meghan Markle. You can hear impact. Everything is worse out of it. And what's interesting is that the woman is asking, for example, very basic questions. If you run your own company, especially the three of them, she knows when it started, 2012. You know what I mean? It's like she has to tell him information about the foundation he's supposed to have founded. She's asking him about how does it happen? The people come to you and he goes, you can see that he doesn't know how to properly give like A, B, C, D thing, because he's not involved. Because clearly it was William and Princess Catherine who were involved at the time.
Yeah. I know that.
Exactly. Garden time. He felt pressured by her questions, and he
Yeah.
was
freaking out because he was literally, even with his facial, it's giving. Like, I don't know what to say here, and this is why you've got the word salad. And I've always said this about Meghan Markle, and even when I post, I won't post unless I feel passionate about it, because I would just sound like Meghan. People's going to disconnect because I'm just speaking about shit I don't care about, and you know, like it really does. You need to know what you're talking about in order to engage people.
Yeah, but look at his face, how flustered and frustrated he's getting. He's getting almost a little bit angry because the woman is like, okay, give me more specifics. Because, you know, and he goes, and then we tested here, we tested. He can't give examples because, I mean, there's so many things that were done with the Royal Foundation. But the only things he can talk about is Heads Together, which was created by Princess Catherine. And I want to contradict him where he says that if that conversation had happened 10 years ago, nobody would have cared. I am going to say, and please cover your ears, bullshit. Because Princess Diana, with a handshake, when AIDS was the most taboo, violent topic in the world, she made it okay. It was Princess Catherine, it was the Royal Foundation bringing this conversation about that made it okay.
Yeah.
I remember with Princess Diana, you guys are too young and probably don't remember this, but I remember the headlines when Princess Diana, the AIDS patient was so embarrassed that he didn't want his face shown. So they only shown, that's why you see the back of the head of the AIDS patient with the Princess Diana shaking his hand in that blue sweater. And I remember the headlines, and I remember even the news, you know, it says, heck, you know, if that lady, it's okay shaking the hand of an AIDS patient, so are we.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and that's breaking the stigma, you know. Out there doing it and being seen. Seeing is believing, like the Queen used to say, you know?
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Is like that he says that the people were not prepared to. That's why Princess Diana was groundbreaking.
Yeah, absolutely.
She would take on things, and this is what the lady was actually talking about. So you guys pick a topic, and it's not his name, it's the royal family's name, because he's thinking of himself as an individual. It's not his name nor his reputation. It is basically the Queen's name, the Queen's reputation, using the monarchy's titles. That's what gives them the gravitas, you know, that people, I want to be associated to the Royal Foundation. So to me, it's incredible that he doesn't get that it was because the royals were talking about, and not only that, Princess Diana was talking about mental health issues too. I know. When she talked about bulimia, I remember that famous speech when she said, you know, I'm waiting for the men in the white coats to come and get me. She was open about it, and people listened to it. And thanks to her, I stopped being anorexic. I got to tell you the truth. Yeah. So he doesn't even know his own mother's history because he's not moron. He's an idiot. That's how unaware he is. Because his mother, by the way, Princess Diana was very open about therapy. Even, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Mental health has always been there, you know.
And Princess Diana with the lepers. Another barrier breaking, the landmines, because she would take on causes that were not popular. And she would do exactly what this lady's talking about. She would normalize it. Yeah. He would put her title, her presence, and bring attention to a subject and normalize it by shaking the hands of lepers.
But she understood also that this was the royal family platform that she was using to do that. She knew how big that was. So she knew that she had the magic of this platform where she could take the cameras, the world's press, and shine a light over it. In that she never, you know, she never misconstrued it. You know, it was Diana. She was the face, but she understood without the royal family name, she wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, and she respected it. But the thing is that he's missing the point. He's saying, because she's asking him, you know, why did you pick up? Oh, because people were ready for that. That's not true. That's what people who are in a position like Princess Catherine or William or the Queen or whoever, Diana or the late Diana, it's they pick a topic, and once they pick it and they back it, everybody wants to join it. That's what that platform is for. And he's saying, oh, they were ready. No, it was Princess Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, who came up with the idea, who was talking about mental health. We know that her brother has had issues with mental health, serious mental health issues. You know, Princess Diana talked about her mental health issues. And guys, I'm going to show you. You're going to be angry. I think you're going to be as angry as I am, because they remember that Harry was talking to a guy at Invictus about playing landmines with Archie.
Oh God. Yeah.
We're just going to listen a couple more minutes of this, because they did a documentary and it's about Prince Harry.
Okay.
They bring Princess Diana. They compare her to Harry. Meghan is there. This is just right now. It's from CTV that they done about Harry. And of course they have to bring Diana. They have to bring everything and how great he is. It's not even about Invictus. They talk about how they flew to Canada, how they sought refuge in Vancouver. This should have been about Invictus only. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But this guy is a complete jerk.
Has this been easier or harder than you thought to start your own foundation and to, what would you say?
I think it's made easier with the people that we work with, the support that we have. Obviously, it's certainly made easier having the name and the position, because with that comes the ability to convene some amazing people and some expertise, of which a lot of other organizations wouldn't have the opportunity to do. So yeah, it's been emotional. Highs, no lows, but there is so much to do, as everybody in this room knows. There is so much to do, and the question is making sure that you streamline it, you do it the right way first time, and the crucial point is that we listen, and that we don't go into a project, we don't go into a community and stamp our authority down and go, we're the Royal Foundation, this is how you're going to do it. It's completely opposite, and that's why.
Isn't that something? Because that's what Archibald does.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Archibald does. It's my way or the highway.
Yeah, well, that's the difference. That's one of the big changes you've seen in Harry and how he used to approach stuff to how he approaches stuff now. He's been completely Hollywooded up. He's been completely. It's insane to watch the change in him as a person, or whether it was he was always there. Maybe he just never wanted to do charity, and maybe he just didn't want to do and be the face of it. And this is why we have him struggling in the interviews even then. You know, the passion maybe wasn't there. Like I said, would Harry have gone and done all this charity because he had a deep-rooted passion if he weren't born into the royal family? And it's something the royal family kind of have to do. It's something celebrity kind of have to do in order to strike that balance of their opulence and wealth to the people, so they can, you know, show they're good and I deserve all what I've got, you know?
Yeah, no, I get it. I get that, but it's I mean, you guys are gonna throw up, because we're gonna get into this, and we're gonna get into Meghan, where Meghan comes into this, because
Hang on, can I just say, is it a documentary that's
I posted it on my X. It's a 22-minute, but we're not gonna show the 22-minute. I'm just gonna show you because I don't know if they have it copyrighted or something.
But have they got the clip of him at Invictus speaking to that person on there? About the landmines. This documentary.
Yeah, they have the whole thing there.
But to be honest with you, my little red flag is I hear you say that, and I go back to, is that why Harry had that conversation? Because he knew this documentary was being made, and he knew this bit was going to be cut and put into this documentary.
No. He hired these people. He gave them the exclusive. Yeah. To do this. Because we know that they pick the people because they will not have any negative press.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So that conversation at Invictus about the landmines, it wasn't a natural. It was in preparation for another documentary for good press.
Yes, because they used Diana afterwards. Yeah. They put clips of Princess Diana. But let's listen to this just one more time, okay? Because so people, if you're joining, so you know who came up with Heads Together.
Why Heads Together and why mental health?
It was your idea.
It was your idea.
It's a common thread, wasn't it? Mental health sort of seemed to run between all the different areas that we were working in. So whether it's homelessness and the military with yourself and addiction with me and bereavement, there was a sort of underlying thread, wasn't there, of mental health. And this idea that there's all of us coming together to find a common theme and to show people how to have those, what we're calling sort of simple conversations and starting those conversations, which is often the hardest bit, really.
As you said, it's like almost like a form of medicine.
Yeah. But as a young mother actually said that to me at the Anna Forey Centre, she said actually just talking to somebody, having those conversations is like medicine for her.
Yeah.
And that is the point, is that actually it's okay to have that conversation, even if it is uncomfortable or awkward, but it's just starting it.
But the pressures on children nowadays, I think, are more than they ever were for us as well. I think each generation can say that. You've got so many things to worry about now, whether you're struggling for exams, whether you're struggling with home life, whether you're struggling with friends. Then you have the social media angle. You can understand why, that coupled with the fact that you don't get out of the house because you're staring at a screen the whole time, there's got to be a lot of issues that are going to build from that if you're not careful.
And it's always sold as though everybody else's life is perfect.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And therefore you think everyone else's life is perfect, there must be something wrong with me. Yeah, if you can have a family environment where you can talk openly about your issues, that makes for a better family, better preparation, probably working better at a job, doing better at school, so it just goes on and on and on.
Because you often speak, don't you, about the emotional changes that sort of even you've gone through. And I think a lot of parents hopefully can, I suppose, identify.
I have to stop it, guys, because otherwise we can get copyright. But isn't she beautiful? I swear to God, I get chills. I mean, she's so beautiful, so soft, so humble. Because they said it was your idea. She didn't say, "Yeah, it's my idea." Can you imagine if they had sent that to Meghan? Oh, of course, they wouldn't even have to say it. Meghan said it was my idea. Can you imagine that?
Yeah. Bit like the soap ad. But do you know what? Listening to Harry speak then about how people go online and see a perfect in how people should share. What are Harry and Meghan carving out for themselves with her clinging on to him? I love you, Harry. Like, they'll speak about everyone else's imperfections, won't they? They will speak and cast attack on everyone else. But when there's any imperfections shown on those two, by those two, they never open up to that. Meghan will just carry on stirring her pot of jam. Everything's perfect here, nothing to see, even though we all look on and go, there is everything to see because it's all wrong. But they carry on with this perfection, the total opposite to what Harry speaks here, in actually how their brand could be damaging in that instinct. If they were the perfect they tried to let on.
Yeah, but you know what's so funny? That Harry and Meghan, he's doing exactly right now what he's saying, that people are trying to portray a perfect life. And that's what Meghan is doing with those stupid Instagram things.
Yeah.
Everything is perfect with my $100,000 jewelry, my perfect children, my perfect everything. My life is perfect, private planes, everything. So this guy is such a wanker, I swear to God. Listen to this.
With that, in that, having a child, particularly your first child, is such a sort of life-changing moment. Nothing can really prepare you for that. Remember the first few days with little George, you have no idea really what you're doing. No matter how many books you read, nothing can prepare you for it.
There's no rule book, there's no training that teaches you how to do it. You just have to learn from previous generations and hope that you can translate it into what you want to do.
You remember up in Anglesey, so we'd had a couple of weeks of sort of family support, and then you were keen to get back to your work, and I was like, no, I'll come with you, of course, yeah. So we scooted off back to Anglesey with George. Those first few weeks, were
steep learning curve.
A steep learning curve, massively.
And when you have children, it really does put your own emotions and your own life into perspective, and it's been very, very interesting understanding why I get so upset about some things or why some things affect me. I thought I was quite fairly sort of straight down the line, but I'm actually quite I feel quite a lot more than I used to.
Do you feel that particularly with the work that with the air ambulance?
I feel like I take on a lot of the family cases with me, take them home, which I find quite hard, and luckily we've got a good support network at work, and just talking about it amongst all of us and being able to understand the process and hear good news and bad news, but follow some of these cases through to the end is quite important.
And it's not just the individual, is it? It has such an effect.
Such an effect.
On the rest of the family.
Precisely. Family, friends, everyone that cares about you. So you've got that one individual in the middle. Yeah. And then no one really, especially with the veterans piece as well, all the focus always seems to be on the individual with the injuries.
Exactly.
If it's physical injuries, then it's supposedly easier because you can see those injuries, where if it's hidden
I'm sorry, guys. You know, I keep saying I have to stop it because we can't play for too long. We have to play little clips, right? But it's amazing how humble Prince William and Catherine sound. You know, like, oh, we know how to be perfect parents. You know, we are, and it's very important. And you know, that video, guys, was so impactful worldwide that these three royals were sitting around a backyard, and it was a conversation among them, but this was so powerful. And they did it in a garden. You know, they were sitting there, they were just talking softly, no yelling, no word salad. It was just like, what's happening, given, you know, we were struggling, as you know, like, we have my family.
And that's the difference, isn't it? Because they got a conversation, they know this is gonna, you know, it's going to be hard, and just that general chit chat around a pub garden table. That's why a garden table. But even in the comparisons, remember when Meghan and Harry went into New York for their mental health, and they had a cream opulent stage with the cream chairs and the drawers and the flowers, and it was Archie Well, all like, oh. Then at the same time, Catherine and William were doing a mental health the same week, of course, because they mirror image everything they do. And you had Catherine on a stage with just a fire exit in the background. You had William sat in the audience next to the people, just on a plastic chair. And that's the difference, you know, that's the difference in visuals we see with the Harry and Meghan of today and what the royals have always been. You know, they're not extravagant. They're just there to use their platform. They know they have extravagance, and this is why they try and balance that with the humble. And this is where you will never see Harry just sat there with his hair all messy and just sat around a garden bench anymore. It's an opulent stage where they're stood above people.
No, the great thing about this is that this wasn't scripted. You know, like Harry no longer does things that are not scripted. Everything has to be scripted. Everything has to be staged. Here they are, the three of them, just having a conversation about this, you know? So let's listen a little bit more.
Hidden wounds, then no one can see that, but still that person is the focus. But the effect that has on them, their family and their friends is huge, because people care about you.
Yeah. But that is part of the healing process, and it's part of sharing your problems to halve them and to make them better with someone you trust and someone you know is going to help you.
Yeah. Both of us have always been open to each other, saying, you know, we've never really talked about it. We've never really talked about losing a mum at such a young age. And when you speak to other people's families and little kids and stuff, you think, wow, you know, I don't want them to have to go through the same thing. So you want to, with a little bit of experience, you want to help as much as you can and try and empower them to have that conversation and to be brave enough for themselves to talk about it at a young age, rather than bottling it up for far too long.
Considering everything that you boys obviously sadly went through and the trauma that you experienced, you know, I do, particularly with work within early intervention and things like that I've been doing in the early years, I do think it's incredible how strong and how you've been able to cope, really. And I put that down to your really early years, childhood experience, but also the relationship that you've got. You're amazingly close. Yeah. And yes, you know, no, but it's you know, and some families sadly aren't as lucky as you guys have been, and being able to share things.
But we have been brought closer because of the circumstances as well. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, you are, you know, uniquely bonded because of what we've been through.
Yeah.
But you know, even Harry and I, over the years, have not talked enough about you know, our mother. You know, we've never
enough.
Has doing this campaign sort of made you realise that?
Yeah, I think so. I always thought to myself, you know, what's the point in bringing up the past? What's the point in bringing up something that's only going to make you sad? It ain't going to change it. It ain't going to bring her back. And when you start thinking like that, it can be really damaging. And you always said to me, you said, you know, you've got to sit down and think about those memories. But for me, it was like, don't want to think about it.
Yeah. But it's, I think, what was happening with us and must happen with others as well is that you have to prioritise, you know, prioritise your mental health. Yeah. You have to say to yourself at some point, because it's very easy to run away from it, you know, to walk away from it and avoid it the whole time. You know, someone has to take the lead and has to be brave enough to force that conversation.
This coming Sunday, the London Marathon is to some people a year.
Isn't that terrible?
Blonde girl, I echo what she's saying. This is why my heart breaks for William. I can't imagine how betrayed he feels. And that's the thing, even in this with Harry and the way he's speaking, you know, it's genuine in that moment. You feel that, you know, saying to William, you know, you told me to speak on it more. And the unbreakable bond that they had. And I think the mass reaction to Harry and Meghan is a lot of just anger, sadness, frustration, like just disgust that you could speak and place yourself on this stage of mental health, yet you've done that. You literally, Harry, shared the code word that you and your brother had connecting you to your dead mom. That's disgusting, you know. That's betrayal. That, what they've done is betrayal, but what he's done to William is next level betrayal.
Yeah, you can see how Catherine is saying you guys have been close, and how William says, yes, we share this unique experience, this unique bond, how he thanks William, because William is the one who got him, by the way, to talk about therapy, who got him onto therapy. And this is the question I got to ask you guys. You have just heard that conversation about Heads Together. They had been working for 2 years when they launched it. It was a marathon. They were trying to promote the marathon for Heads Together in 2017. This is April 2017, but they've been working on it since 2016. So you're telling me that Harry being part of Heads Together, you just heard that conversation with Harry, and you just heard him on the Obama thing on 2017 saying how they have all these organizations for mental health, so people who feel above the parapet can come and ask for help. So you're telling me that Meghan Markle couldn't reach any of those organizations while her mother was also a mental health worker when she was trying to off herself or self-exit? I don't buy it. I think it's a huge lie, and that's stupid, because her husband was part of Heads Together. They had like 12 organizations that she could have easily called. She could have gone to a private person. She didn't need to write an email to HR. I think she wrote an email to HR to leave a paper trail so she could use it later on.
Yeah.
And say, well, I wrote to HR. Here's the email.
Yeah.
Why would she write to HR? She wasn't an employee of the firm.
No.
She was a bully of the firm.
And the thing is, her husband was so heavily, you know, interlooped with all these mental health. He was okay getting his therapy, so that's a failure on his behalf for not taking this further. You know, that to me, I just everything we've seen Meghan do and the lengths she will go to, there's no empathy, compassion, understanding, accountability in this woman. So do I think she can reach those levels of low? Absolutely not. That's my opinion.
Okay, so this is the CTV thing. I won't play very much, guys, because let me see. I can't do very much music here, but this is the guy who does, this is the CTV news special. I posted it on my X, so you can go watch the whole thing if you can manage to go through. But let me, oh, the music, there's the music I can play. So they're talking about Invictus.
Officer Mark Baer, the experience is transferred.
It's just for the music.
We're trying to find talent to come and celebrate this community. You don't have to try too hard. There are so many people out there in this world who would charge for their time. But so many of these individuals love and respect this group of people so much that they will move heaven and earth to be here to support them. And for that, all I can be is incredibly grateful.
Now you're going to listen.
Harry and Meghan came to British Columbia.
I'm very deliberate that they chose Vancouver Island as a place to start over, and because it was quiet compared to.
Why? I mean, I'm just going to show you clips a little bit of this, okay? Because they're talking. This is about Invictus. This is supposed to be.
This is Harry and Meghan's story.
How they left Canada.
Yeah, yeah.
This is CTV. This is supposed to be CTV News special. Prince Harry and the Canadian heroes. Yeah, they're talking about. I can't play very much because of the music. They're talking about how they fled they moved to Vancouver because it was quiet. They didn't want anything there. And this crazy woman is talking about that.
To the sort of paparazzi pack that we have here in London, the constant scrutiny that they'd been under, Vancouver felt completely different. It was a refuge.
Until Meghan
didn't stay there long enough, though, did they? It wasn't that much of a retreat, was it?
No, and then they go because they're talking about how they fled, basically, and there he's talking there about the landmines. Because look how they mixed it, right? He's saying that. Let's see.
We were bumping into people the whole time. Nobody told anybody. I guess
they said that he was safe in Vancouver. Nobody followed.
Culture of respect and.
I can't show that because they show him giving the speech, guys. You have to bear with me because we can't show very much here. He's talking about this going to the tribal nation. Of course, there's Meghan Markle. They did this while she was there. Look at her. There's no reason for her to clap like that. The only reason why she's doing that is for you to see the gold watch. Okay, who the hell claps like that? Nobody. Okay, and they're talking about landmines, and here we go.
He lives on in Prince Harry and the Invictus Games. Invictus is Latin for unconquerable. Veterans wounded in service compete.
I said it before. Invictus has become the small print to Harry and Meghan's story. The small print, the mere detail.
Let me just get rid of that. Where the hell? Sorry about that, guys. They made it into Harry fled the UK with Meghan. They went to Canada, and then they created Invictus because it was theirs. And of course, he talks about Diana, and it was very specific why he chose to speak about Princess Diana and the landmines and bringing the people. So the manipulation is complete. I'm talking to Archie about landmines, but I draw the line at IEDs because they knew that this segment they were going to put Princess Diana there and compare Harry to Princess Diana.
And this is the bits, Paula, which you are like brilliant at exposing, because I don't see every bit of interview. I wouldn't have known this documentary has gone out, but the minute you said there's a documentary in the landmines, it's sort of just like you connect it and you go, that's why you spoke about the landmines, because it seems so out of sync to everything. You know, how do you bring Diana into it? Like, how is your 5-year-old child asking about that? You know, and now it all makes sense. It makes sense that that conversation come up, because then they could clip it and stick it in this documentary, where it's going to place you as the victim, and it boggles my mind. Sorry.
No. I was saying this. I'm just answering to Left Eye. Have you footage after she left? No, this was filmed while Meghan was there.
Yeah.
And now you understand. Now you understand why he talked about landmines.
Yeah.
Because there was a segue into introduce. I hadn't thought about my mom and landmines. Harry has become a very good liar. I got to give it to him, because he lies better than Meghan Markle.
Yeah. And the fact that you can even in this documentary, this little 20-minute thing, place Harry and Meghan as a victim of having to flee a country to go to a luxurious mansion in Vancouver, and you place that against people that have swore an oath to their country, they've had legs blown off and died, lost friends, you know, and we're trying to place them as the victims because they chose to go to Vancouver. They went by private jet, and you're placing this next to a story which really should be told, but you're trying to compare them as victim. It's crazy. It's mental. It's disgusting. See?
So the reason why I wanted to do an order about things I'm trying to get a little bit better. The reason why I wanted to show you that interview that Harry gave. Can you just give a little message? Just 1 second. I just got a phone call.
Yeah. So this, for me, the fact that we see that picture of Meghan Markle alongside everyone else, now they're Invictus coats, first time even in where we've seen Harry with Invictus on him since he was a part of the royal with William and Catherine, where they used to wear the polo t-shirts. The fact that Meghan Markle wanted to blend in, she wanted the black buffer coat like everyone else, so she could align and not stand out, but she would not reach that element of actually having Invictus on her. That, to me, it just speaks so much about Meghan Markle, because she wants to blend in. She wants to look like everyone else and like she's doing, but she can't have the Invictus on her like everyone else, because she has to be different.
But that's why she doesn't want to blend in. She wants to stand out.
Yeah.
You know, she wants to stand out, because then she's merching. She used this. She wore Dior the whole time, guys. Guys. Yeah. Look, this is Marie, Princess of Denmark. She's married to Joachim of Denmark. Both of them have been wearing, since the minute they got there, they've been meeting with it. Harry has been doing one event at most a day. The Danish royals, they having a dinner with the veterans. They're going to see them. They're trying to hit as many sports as possible. They're being pictured with that. I mean, it is unbelievable, like, and you can look at this idiot. I mean, she is an idiot. I'm sorry, because for me, it's always disgusting when I see why this is allowed to happen. Like, for me, I don't get it. Because this woman has been exploiting everybody. It's just actually quite a disgrace. I really do believe that Invictus is not a good organization for the veterans, and it really bothers me when they say that Invictus is such a worthwhile organization when it's not. This is a man who got $60,400,000. The stalls are empty.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you go back to the beginning days of Invictus, it was sellouts. That every seat in the house was taken, and a bigger stadium, which what they were in this one. It's astonishing that the fall of Invictus.
Yeah. I mean, but look at this. He's meeting there, Joachim of Denmark. Look how Marie, the princess, is looking at him. It's like, In a way, it's very interesting because Prince Joachim's kids were stripped of their royal titles and styles by Queen Margaret.
Yeah.
He's the second son of Queen Margaret. Basically, he's Harry, but on the Danish side. And his mother decided to strip his children of HRH and Prince and Princess style titles. Okay. But look. And Harry can't even bring to himself to wear an Invictus. We can't even blame it on Meghan anymore.
No,
because he's wearing a green shirt, no Invictus. You know that the Danish royals, they haven't stopped wearing Invictus everywhere they go.
Yeah, and you've got the head of it, the face of it. He did in that one scene have the jacket on, but yeah. And to be fair, if you can't, is Harry and Meghan, look at these pictures and see just. But then you're talking about human beings who can find growth, and Harry and Meghan are not that. They can't understand that it's everyone's against me kind of vibe. They can't see actually that everyone else is proud to wear Invictus for the athletes, for their country. This is a moment to put them on the main stage, but Harry and Meghan fall short of that. And they're the face of it, aren't they? Well, he should be.
Isabel, right? You're forcing me to do something that, you know what? I don't even know why I even bother sometimes. But if you're bringing this here, Isabel, right? If you've been listening to my channel, when the Queen was still alive, there were a lot of UK parliamentary petitions asking what you're reading there. Remove the titles, Duke and Duchess. They can't remove a title from Meghan because Meghan is not titled herself. She gets to use her husband's title out of courtesy, right? Yes, exactly, Jennifer. I mean, I am going to do it because I have more followers now, and I don't want to leave that comment there. And it says here, rejected petition. I think we can all read it. Now, there is a debate in Parliament. It's called the Titles and Deprivation Act of 1917, which was used to deprive royals or aristocrats for treason. And people were asking, and this says that Parliament rejected that petition because that particular act did not apply. But most importantly, this is the most important thing. We can't publish petitions about honors and appointments, including asking for people to be given or have titles removed. In any case, the use of royal titles are a matter for Her Majesty the Queen and not the government or Parliament. And I'm sorry I'm shouting because I get so angry. I get so angry at that information being put out there. Okay, Parliament has already answered. Everybody knows that it's up to the monarch. And I wish the Queen had done what Queen Margaret did, which was to remove Harry's titles, at least for the children, for the grandchildren.
Yeah.
For Harry's kids, just like Queen Margaret did. Because the monarch is the fount of all titles. Royal titles are honorary. They're not aristocrats like Princess Diana. They have the Peerage Act, which is something completely different because a royal duke is not the same as a duke, as a regular duke, as an aristocrat. Okay? So please, I'm sorry, I'm angry because I've been talking about this forever. I've been showing you. I mean, this is directly, and I'm going to leave the petition again. You can go read it. This is not fake. This is directly from Parliament, okay? Because I haven't even been accused of faking this. This is directly from Parliament. Go there and go crazy. So I hope that has answered that question, and I will never answer that question again.
Here's the thing, though. The reality is the king is not going to remove the titles.
He already said he won't.
No. So, and to be honest with you, I know that people think when William steps in, he will also. He won't either. I don't believe. William has been brought up with the Queen, right? In that legacy that they need to protect. In Harry and Meghan, if they take the titles, the victim status is going to be next level. And I just think they're going to just try and protect the monarchy as much as they can from Harry and Meghan. And if that means by extension, them, they're always going to protect Harry. That's why we've got this protection over him. And it would stem from the monarchy as well. They will be protecting Harry, without a doubt, because it protects the monarchy also. You know, and that's their prime focus. And Harry and Meghan have unleashed attack after attack, and the people see it wrong, and it is wrong, but it's life, I'm afraid. And the king he's not the Queen, you know, and I think maybe this is why the Queen hung on for so long, because she knew he was weak, and he would always. He's not doing what a king should do. But then the Queen didn't go to that length for removing the titles. But then I think if the Queen were here today and she'd see the damage they were doing,
well, she would have. She would have.
Yeah, eventually she would have. Yeah,
she would have never allowed Archie and those.
Well, she removed Her Royal Highness, didn't she?
Yep.
Yeah.
They put them in abeyance, and they still use them. They use them in Nigeria.
I know.
You
but
know?
then at the minute we have our king, you know, not meant to be political, but I'm struggling with the king. I'm watching him go out with our prime minister, who a big part of the country. So I feel like the king is getting involved in political shit he shouldn't be getting involved in. So the Queen knew. I think the Queen knew, and I think King Charles, I had a lot of empathy for him. I still do. I will always want my royal family. I will always want them to be at the helm. I can't imagine a country. They are our national identity. I long for the day William and Catherine. I don't wish any harm on the king, but I just don't see. He's getting involved with shit he shouldn't get involved in.
But this is not new. He's always been political. Do you remember? Oh, probably you're so young, you don't remember the spider letters that they managed. That there was guys. This court case, the newspapers published some letters from King Charles. So King Charles, the government took the newspapers to trial, trying to censor them for showing all the letters from Charles. They used to call them the spider letters because how he used black ink, and his handwriting is so messy. Because he was on a daily basis writing to Parliament, advising on laws, or why is this law passing, or this and that. When he wasn't, he was Prince of Wales, and he promised that when he was king, that that he would stop. But I don't think he has stopped, to tell you the truth, Pat. Sorry, Tina. I don't think he has stopped. And what we're witnessing here, what you guys are watching, this is Harry meeting with the tribe, in Canada. Mm-hmm. And they even left because he said last year when he went there, he said that he was going to come back this year, which he did, and he was going to solve the problems of the multicultural tribal problems in Canada. On whose name is he receiving those things? I would like to know.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Why is he being treated as though he's part of a royal household?
Because there's going to be a level of protection around Harry, and he believes it. He's been brought up doing that. So, and I think the thing is, Harry and Meghan rock up. They know they've got this aura of the royal family where they work off that balance anyway, even with the wildfires and they turned up. I think they know that people are going to automatically go, shit, it's the King of England's son, let's let them in, because they don't want to be that person to make a scene and embarrass our country, the king, or what have you. And this is what Harry and Meghan ride off, that people won't say no. And because that mayor of, I don't know, LA or whatever, so if they turn up somewhere else, the governor, yeah, the governor, they're turning up somewhere else. They go, well, the governor didn't tell them no, so we best let them in because we don't want to upset the king. Yeah, and it's crazy.
No, I know. I mean, but it is just all disgusting. You know, it's been one show after another, and that CTV special, guys. If it's on my ex account, if you go, it's there. It's gonna anger you because so you know the reason why that Harry talked about landmines and Archie, a 5-year-old, asking him about it is because he knew and he chose that guy to be sitting next to him and give him that interview because they already had an angle how to pitch it. Because this is all for image. Image. They're trying to save their image. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my God, they are constantly trying to save their image. And the things I took from Invictus, you know, we hear that Meghan was always arranging to go home. But this is where it speaks to the fact that Harry and Meghan have full control of their PR and they're useless. We've seen they're useless at handling anything or any business opportunity they have, they ruin it. But for me, if you've got a good PR system around you, yeah, so the PR is to manipulate the people. The PR is to try and turn the curve around you. So at the beginning, they should have said, Meghan's arriving with Harry. She's going to be here, and she's going to be leaving to go and be with her family. So that would have insisted a bit of understanding the people, family are priority for Harry and Meghan. But no PR was released like that. So all of a sudden, she's all over him all week. We see that picture of them arguing, then she disappears. She flees the night. So PR has failed you because now people, not only do they question after your angry photo that's gone out that you've had a ruck and she's gone home in a strop. Now what it's going to do is because you've been there, Meghan, taking all the attention, it's going to shine a massive light on what happens when you're not around Harry, in how he becomes relaxed, in how the cameras are also now on the veterans. So another failed PR. And it just speaks to the people that are meant to protect them have no voice.
Yeah, but so people understand something too. I'm going to show you this because a lot of people are saying Meghan was not supposed to leave. There is no way because Meghan got caught with her pants down. The reason why, even by their own standards, guys, these two have gone over the top in PDA. Not even when they were in the honeymoon, when they were kissing so much. Remember? When they were doing the royal tours at the very beginning, or it wasn't this over the top. And this is all because Meghan got caught with her pants down because Harry found out that she was selling not only a book, but videos. And even trying to sell a movie, get a movie made where she would star as herself with Harry. Okay.
She has to wait a few years. She can be the crown.
Because there's no way. This woman has been filming this man forever. Okay. She's been recording this man forever. So she got caught with her pants down, and this is damage control because in the Vanity Fair and her PR never denied that she was selling the book. What they said is that there's no book because there was no divorce. So that is a threat. If there is a divorce, there's going to be shit coming out.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, and I want to show you something here because I'll show you. This compounds this. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle look set to host Prince Joachim and Princess Marie of Denmark at the Invictus Games. This was published January 31st, 2025. Okay? Because this would have been huge for Meghan's brand to be seen around other royals. You know, it would have made sense for her to arrive the 13th, to love bomb Harry on the 14th of February, you know, on Valentine's, because that's what they did the year. You know that not even last year when they were at Invictus, they were not that PDA.
Yeah.
So it would have made sense for her to have come on the 13th, spend the 14th with the love of her life, and then they can be all lovey-dovey. And then, are you telling me that her brand would have not benefited? Netflix would have not been happy to see Meghan hanging out with the other royals?
Well, we know that Meghan would have absolutely had dresses or outfits in those suitcases for when the royals arrived. I'm sorry. No, she would have been there and she would have loved every moment of hosting royals in Vancouver. So, you know, it's so obvious that she planned to stay longer and whatever happened. And the woman in the wheelchair, I'm sorry, this day and age, we can't be, no. I see someone in a wheelchair the other day and I thought about Meghan and I just thought that would be like me just going and choosing where that woman's going to go and moving her. And it's just, there's no excuses in 2025 to feel that you can maneuver people, human beings, like Meghan Markle does.
Yeah, I've been telling you, if you go to my earlier videos, not only watch the reason why, a lot of people say that she was hitting on Prince William. Hardly that's true, but she was caught recording people and recording children. She was recording everything. How do we know that? Because on their Netflix thing, we saw some footage inside the palace, inside the Queen's dollhouse that Beatrice was supposed to be safeguarding when they're mocking having tea, Harry and Meghan. We've seen her filming everything. This woman has been filming everything. We know that. And people, you know what? And I don't understand why people don't understand that. Everywhere she goes with camera. And now that she has Instagram, I mean, she was forced to take some images down. She wasn't even aware they've done that. And some people even told me, no, that's not how Instagram works. They put a message when the image has expired. No, they don't. No, they don't. But look at her here, exploiting that poor kid. Why did she have to have a separate event for herself, having Harry sitting on the floor, missing the Invictus games that they were there?
I know. And this is what she does. She's all right exploiting other people's children and using them to cast a better light on herself. And, you know, what parent is going home or ringing their children to say, we're doing this, we're doing that? Enjoy being home. Rub it in, why don't you, Harry and Meghan? I just feel like, you know, this would have been the perfect opportunity, and especially if, you know, Archie's, like Harry says, asking about landmines. Surely this is the opportunity to show Archie the good story, you know, these people that defy what life is given to them. But no, I honestly believe that Meghan wouldn't have the children with them, because that's going to be a hard day if ever she goes out with her children and Harry on the main stage, because each and every one of those people around her are above her. They are all blood related to the royal family. She's not. And
yeah, I just want to show you this, guys, because for some reason people are still clapping back at this. This is me filming her stories. You can see here that the stories are supposed to still be there because you have the little blank spaces, like here, you know, you see one story, right? Another story. So I am clicking and you see it goes from story to story. I click, story no longer available, story no longer available, story no longer available, story no longer available, story no longer available. Then her story comes.
Yeah, she's taking them down.
No, they had banned it. Instagram banned it because she was using children and stuff like that, and people complained. So Instagram removed them. When she found out they'd done that, then she took them down. So you were left, like, after about 40 minutes. They did my video about exposing this. After 40 minutes, you couldn't find
when your story is only a certain amount of time. Once it ends, that's it. It just disappears. You don't get a message like that. You don't. Otherwise, everyone's would be clogged up with messages like that. Every story that's posted, there'd be messages clogged. That Instagram don't want to work like that. In you know, it's they've been removed. And to be honest, I found it, you know, the crazy and the fact it was all over her Instagram, and she was tagging Michael Bublé. She was tagging Michael Bublé's wife, but at no point did she tag Invictus.
And the thing is, though, that the kids don't take to her. Look, they all come to see Harry, who's an idiot, but they all look at him. Look, the little girl just talking to him. This woman here, guys, this is one of the worst in the Sussex squad. This woman here.
Yes, it's crazy that she's there.
She's there. But no, she went with them to Nigeria. She's gone with them everywhere. She's the head of the Sussex squad. Look how close she's sitting, her and this other lady.
And I find it funny, if I ever do a post about the royal family, oh, you're being paid. No, I'm not. I am not being paid. This is genuine. I just want to defend my country and point out the wrongs in just a bit of awareness between coercive control, which I do see. But the fact they're just taking the head of the Sussex squad around with them, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. You literally got Invictus and you got Tom Bauer there, which, let's be honest, he is there to just probably pay respect to the vets, but also to get information for his next book. And the Sussex squad have literally played into his hands.
Yeah, but it's interesting how the kids don't take to her. Look at how the kid is not even looking at her, you know, and like a ghoul with that messy weave that she has. You can see it's even 2-color weave, you know. This is, I'm gonna see if I can enhance it even more so you guys can see her weave, you know, like it's 2-color weave, always matched, you know, like, you know what I mean? That's when they insert the stuff. You can see the line there. I mean, you can see she painted herself a little bit darker. Look at the white in here. You know, she's not painting herself as black anymore, thankfully. But she's a scary person. I wouldn't want her around my children.
The thing is wow, the free. Why can't you just turn up, Meghan, in an Invictus t-shirt and be there all day in the same outfit? Why are we getting changed free outfits, Meghan? Because every time you change an outfit, you know that that's going to create press for you. And every time you're thinking about changing an outfit, that takes your mind out of the room with the people you're with. This is why the people don't connect with you. This is why the children don't connect with you, because you're disingenuous and you're not there for the right reasons, because it's your runway show. You know, who gets changed 3 times in a day? And whilst you're thinking about, oh, what time do I need to go and get ready, what time, that this is where you're not even involved in this moment, you know.
And it's also insane, you know, because this woman, guys, this woman is certifiable. I'm sorry, this woman is certifiable because she was showing this signet ring. I am old enough. You don't know this, Tina, but I am old enough to remember
I've
this.
seen the pictures, though. I've seen the pictures.
No. But this is what Meghan is cosplaying. I don't believe for one second that Harry gave her a signet ring, because she's wearing a signet ring with her initial M, and she put a crown above it, right? This is King Charles' secret wedding gift. Princess Diana refused to wear, but this is what he gave to her. Here, I'm going to highlight it. The night before the couple got married, Charles reportedly sent Diana a heartfelt gift, a signet ring engraved with the official crest of the Prince of Wales, which is the same one he wears daily. And then we would see Princess Diana wearing that pinky ring, you know, with oh no, this is Meghan, I think. Now, is that Meghan? I don't know, because her hands are white. But I don't know what that is. But Princess Diana used to wear that little, like, it's a ring like this that Princess Diana used to wear. So now Meghan said that Harry gave her that as an anniversary gift. This is a woman. He's so sick. This woman really has to be. I mean, this woman is not well in the head, and I don't mean that she doesn't know what she's doing. I'm saying that this woman is evil.
You know, the thing is with the signet ring in the Diana, in the cosplay and the clothes, we've seen outfits where it's duplicate of Diana. Whether Harry gave her that ring or whether Meghan bought that ring, either direction, it's not right. You know, why can't your mom uniquely be her? Why can't you celebrate her for being who she was, down to the littlest of detail? Why do you need to create a duplicate in your wife, or why does your wife want to duplicate your mom? That it's yeah, you know, Leona Leon. It's true. It's crazy. It's not normal. Do I look at my in-law and go, yeah, I'm gonna wear the same piece of jewelry and the same finger as you? No, I don't. Unless I'm summoning, you know, the legacy that his mom is to manipulate him, and it's just crazy.
And I just want to, because a lot of maybe you guys don't know, Harry keeps talking a lot about his 10 years in Afghanistan, or the service and the military. This man, had he taken a random drug test, he would have been dishonorably discharged, because he never took a random drug test like all the other soldiers did. Okay, this is what he would do during the army. He never saw a day in combat. He was inside an air-conditioned tent. He spent his days playing rugby, playing Nintendo. He had a whole army of Gurkhas protected him. Whenever he went out, if you thought that he went on his own with his buddies, no. He had an army of Gurkhas who risked their lives to protect him so he could play Prince, because the royal family was rehabilitating his image. That's the only place that they could put him. He actually failed his entrance exam. When he graduated from Eton, there was a huge scandal because they fudged the minimum grade he needed in order to enter the army, the military in the UK. He failed his exam twice, officer's exam. And then we found out because of the phone hacking between a conversation between Prince William and Catherine that got leaked, that William was really angry because an officer, an officer had helped Harry pass the test, the officer's test, the second time he took the test. And that conversation got leaked, and and so we know that Harry, out of his own merits, has never done any. I have never seen a soldier like this. I can tell you that I have huge respect for the veterans, and I think that the worst disservice that the world is doing to the veterans right now is having the Invictus Games Foundation, because it is a vanity project for this asshole and his skanky wife. I've said it. The veterans deserve better.
And you know what I find really sad in this, because I know when we had the Centre-Path on Poppy Day here, and a lot of people were wanting the vets to turn their back on our Prime Minister. And these are people that have signed an oath to their country, to their community, to their fellow soldiers, and they would never do that because respect, and a lot of people go, why are not all the veterans like just disregarding Invictus? And again, these people, if signed on oath, this, I think for them, it's not about Harry and Meghan, it's about the people they're going to be competing with and the respect they have for each other. And this is the sad thing, you've got the competitors, the ex-army, the veterans who have had the PTSD, they've had the injuries, they've had to overcome to compete, and you've just got Harry and Meghan being the face of it, and that level of respect that these competitors have wouldn't allow them to sort of step away, if you get me.
Yeah, Harry cannot compare. The only thing he has, guys, is that those 4 medals he wears, is 3 are from the 3 jubilees from the Queen, and the 4th one is because he went, because every soldier gets one just for going. He doesn't have a Medal of Valor. He has never been in combat. He has never had to rescue a soldier from anywhere. He has never been exposed to anything. The only time was when there was an explosion that I believe that his camp was hit by rockets, and immediately his bodyguard shoved him and kept him safe. So the fact that people are still saying Harry's a veteran, it really blows my mind, because he's not a veteran. He played one. He was cosplaying to rehabilitate his image. And even then there were horror stories, because there were stories of him that he had a huge party, that he brought prostitutes in there, and it got out of hand. One of the prostitutes got hurt. The same thing in Afghanistan, that the prostitutes did not want to come back to the camp because of what a brutal guy he was. So there are horror stories with Harry. I am not going to tell you where this picture is from, because I am doing a video about this, but I will tell you something. Harry and Meghan don't respect the veterans. Harry and Meghan use the veterans, in my very humble opinion, and I am entitled to say it, for exploitation. Harry can't swap a story about a hardship that he suffered while he was a veteran. In fact, there is an interview, I don't want to do a long live, where he did an interview why he had gone to Afghanistan. ITV, Tom Bradby interviewed him. Oh, because the curry's great, and I have the burkas, and we played the most fantastic games, because they asked him why he chose to go for Christmas there, because most people want to be with their families, right? So because he wanted to go for Christmas to play soldier, eat fantastic goat curry, play fantastic game with the Gurkhas, by the way, who were the bodyguards assigned to guard him. Those guards were happy that they were protecting Harry, because they were not out in the field, exposing, and they got better food. Yeah. So Harry cannot swap. It is a shameful thing to call him a veteran. It is disgusting. People should stop pandering to this insanity, to this whitewash image that Buckingham Palace did. It was a shameful thing what he did in the Pat Tillman. His mother, Pat Tillman's mother, told him, "You are not worthy of my son's honor, of my son's award." A man who actually gave his life, who actually quit being a famous football player in the United States and paid the ultimate
fight for his country. Yeah. The thing is, though, I've always said, you know, the royal family in their military is kind of in their history. They're sort of born to go and do that anyway. So it doesn't get a massive tick from me because it's sort of something they do. The pressure's on for them to go and do that anyway. We know they're going to be largely protected out there. For me, it's, you know, it's that young man or woman that have been brought up in poverty, or they have been wronged with trauma, and they push themselves and they go and join the military and they go and achieve greater. It's not like it was they were born in to do this, they want to do this, and that's the difference. And I think that's that Pat Tillman's mom, and that's what she was saying. There are plenty of people that go and do good in their country, and I always just think with the whole Harry and the military, he had to do this. He was born into this, you know. It's a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that the Invictus Games Foundation should be canceled. It should be audited. $60,400,000. The seats are empty. Harry only shows to one event a day, drinking. Doesn't even wear the Invictus things. I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? And Meghan uses it for Photoshop, for promoting Dior, for promoting herself. They did that CTV thing, which was a little 22-minute where they showcased their escape from the UK, how they went to Vancouver because it was peaceful. But then his wife called him because she was sick and tired, and how his wife has an Instagram account while they were preaching against social media. And look at these three beautiful children.
Yeah, they are beautiful. But the thing is with the Wales' children, you know, because they're brought up into the royal family, I do feel like Harry and Meghan's children probably, because mum and dad they don't seem to be there a lot, do they? They're always out here trying to convince us, but actually just focus on your children. Yeah, that's all you need to do, really. You know, between the ages of 1 and 7, that's where the brain really develops. And what can we say for those children if mum and dad are out in the world just trying to convince the people to like them, and they're good people? Like just the only people that you need to be liked and loved by are your children. You know, that's it. And you look at the Waleses and how they've got this platform so big, they've got this wealth and opulence, but they're also being trained in being humble and understanding what they've got. And that's why that they're creating royals, you know, that there's a difference, isn't there?
Yeah, it's amazing because, you know, he doesn't look like he's missing his children, partying, showing up drunk, hungover the next day. And, you know, like you said, the ages between 0 and 5 are important. And Harry and Meghan have spent most of their time away from those children for no reason at all. No good reason at all that they can't carry their children. We've seen Princess Catherine and William take their children on tour. There's no reason why they can, especially when yesterday I did a live where I showed you guys that there's I showed you the article where Harry says he doesn't trust anybody other than Archie, and he's going to pass the torch to Archie, right? So, but then again, he's never around these children. Are they going to the Bahamas or something to take a break, to reconnect Harry and Meghan away from their children? You know, I mean, they're never around the kids. They use them as props and to blah, blah, blah their way and to try to manipulate people. But Harry's not a parent. They missed, where were they in Mother's Day? Meghan was in Nigeria. She didn't even wish her own mother Happy Mother's Day. It's like she grabbed the mic, I'm a mother. And then when they went to Colombia, it was supposed to be Archie's first day of school, a parent's thing. Where were they? Even Princess Diana scheduled her whole her agenda around her children's school thing. Everybody.
But there's a big difference with Diana, though, isn't there? Because it kind of was her job. This isn't their job, really. Invictus, yes, but the rest, no. And actually, do you not think Archie and Lilibet need a break? They need to see mom and dad reconnect. Why are you not taking them away from with you? Why are you not taking them away from all the assistants, the crazy that probably goes on in Montecito as Harry and Meghan are like the hub of trying to bend the curve on everything, the staff in and out constantly. Maybe the kids need a bit of respite. Take them with you so you can reconnect as a family, because every other mom, every other parent out there just can't even, yes, you go away, but these two are always away. I think the 22 years me and my husband have been married, we went for 3 nights away from our children to New York, and that was for my birthday. And that time, I felt so bad, so guilty and worried for my children in us not being there. These two just don't, you know.
The thing is that I remember, with my son, it's like I didn't want to spend time away from him. We would take him everywhere we went, and whenever I took vacations, like I would plan my vacations about. I remember when we went to Germany. There's this cool aquarium in Berlin that is amazing, and I remember I would research all the cool places to take Henrik, and go and see these places, and because and then I would get him as tired as possible during the day. So, at night I would, we'll be still at the hotel, and like I would order dinner and I would have something for me, but I would never be away, especially from your children that young, especially since both of them have said that, their priority is their children. I'm a mom.
The thing is, it's like, are you trolling us at this point? Because we hear about family time, we hear about your children, we watch you wear a yellow dress as a symbol for your children on Mother's Day when you're not actually with them. I'm sure your children would just like to make you breakfast in bed and give you a Mother's Day card and not have you in another country pretending to be the royal you once were. And actually, if this conversation about landmines did happen with Archie, and Archie at 5 years old is that intuitive, I should imagine conversations will be being had that all my friends at school have grandparents. Where are mine? It just falls flat every time with them. The fact Meghan's getting a solo private jet and using 800 gallons of fuel into the atmosphere, yet she's collecting awards for being green, in saving the planet. It just boggles my mind.
I mean, it is incredible. I gotta tell you something that's really been bothering me, because guys, I actually wanted to be a Marine. I even went through the test in the United States. I wanted to join the Marines. I have huge respect. I've lost friends in service, which is not a nice thing. I know what it is from firsthand from my girlfriends who have lost children. I call them children because of course they're kids, but they were like in the late teens when they joined the Marines at 17, and one of them died at 19, like a week before he turned 20. Another one, died. Or it's very personal for me. You guys on my channel know that I have huge respect for the veterans. You know that I do my lives with Matt the Angry Bootnik, and he's like, "Oh, don't thank me because it's." But yes, I do thank them for their service. So for me, it's humiliating to see that. I think that the veterans are being humiliated. This is an embarrassment to see the veterans like that.
Yeah. And it's so, this here, people are not stupid. The large majority have been in relationships. They got husbands and wives maybe, or they're in partnerships and stuff. We can all see that her hugging on to him is a press grab. It's we love each other. I've not been shopping for a divorce book, I promise. We're all happy. Yet we see that actual photo of her scowling at him and him staring away. Now I looked at that and yeah, that's real. That's probably the first real photo we've seen of you two, because you know what? I look at that and I think that could easily be my husband looking away from me if we've got into an argument, and me looking at him waiting for a reaction. It's great. They are something else. It's
yeah, no, but it is disgusting. I think that the veterans deserve better. I believe that exploitation at its most. I think that this whole thing of Invictus has been disgusting. Harry attending barely one event and then parading Meghan everywhere, sitting on the floor while Meghan is, I don't even know what she was doing, sitting on top of a bench or whatever you want to call it. It's embarrassing. We've seen that Harry, how he changed from April 2017 and April 2017 when he says it's Catherine's idea, the Invictus Games. No, not Invictus, but the mental health thing. And then in October that same year, I don't know. And the lady specifically asked him whose idea it was. He didn't know about the Royal Foundation, because to me, him and Meghan were already, even back then, planning to leave and hurt people as much as they can. What do you think?
No, absolutely. I think Meghan never intended to stay in the first place. I think this was, in my opinion, This was always her end game. I think she had an end game from the beginning. I think that title of Omid Scobie's book or whatever it was very fitting for Meghan Markle. You know, I just think she always had an agenda. I just don't think she ever plan to stay within the royal family. You only need to see the photos of one of the children, was it Louis' christening, where they're all dressed in navy blue, and you know that Catherine's put a message out, like colours, like you do. I had it with duck egg, and I never told people what to wear, but people knew, and the themes sort of all sat the same. Meghan stood out. She wore like sage green, sort of khaki green, like she was causing ruptions from the off over needless moments. And we've seen the capabilities of Meghan Markle since they walked away. In that family, we're dealing with that beyond the screens. Like this is why it all fell apart.
We're gonna leave because we've been almost 2 hours. I thought I only wanted to do 1 hour because I didn't want to take your time. But please go subscribe to the Aftermath. I also want to say that Yankee Wally, the account is new because her old account was canceled.
Okay.
This is the GOAT to me, because she was calling all of this out. My account, I remember in 2019 was canceled, 18 and 19 was canceled, and then I started up again in 2020, and I was watching Yankee Wally. This lady has gone through so much, but she was the GOAT. Please go subscribe to her, because she's the one who's been on there. Like me, she gave me the courage to start again in spite of the fact of being canceled, because she was amazing. She's a little old lady from Wales, a mature young lady from Wales. So please go subscribe to her, show her some love, because believe you me, guys, she was talking about all of this since 2018. The only thing you see this account is news because they keep canceling. She deserves the recognition. So please go subscribe to her. Yes, Yankee Wally is a lady, but also please do go subscribe to Tina. And Tina, I have to have you for the next week. I don't want to go along, without seeing you. We should do it at least once a week.
I'm up for it. I
want to talk about Blake Lively, because Amber gave her support, so we have to talk about that.
Yes, we definitely have to do a Blake Lively conversation, because that's insane. Cool.
Thank you anyways. Then you have a great Sunday. Thank you, sweetie, for coming. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, beautiful people. And you all have a wonderful Sunday. Thank you, Tina.
I just echo what Paula said, and thank you for all the love, everyone. Bye. Thank you, Paula.